did they do to build enthusiasm for change? One is, obviously, when people were told that you have to go, it was not a nice thing. It was like tomorrow you say that, okay, we want to introduce a new ERP system. Now you have to kind of start performing new roles, and it's not going to be like what has happened in the past. So obviously there is going to be a lot of question marks, a lot of concerns. So it's very important to kind of get the person to understand that, hey, change is difficult, but in this new change process, you are actually going to be a winner. So what the organization did was to provide change management training, career transition training for each of the employees. So what did they do? Through the training, we addressed these paradigms. People had this perspective, I'm a salesman, I'm an FMCG person, I'm overpaid, and I'm not good in English and hence I'm not marketable. So we changed the paradigm. Okay? I'm a salesperson. No. I manage the growth of a territory. So I start actually looking at my own role very differently, because then I can actually share that in the in the market. I don't know English, but is that required? I know the language of the customer. The moment the person actually kind of starts believing that he knows the language of the customer, he knows the pulse of the customer, your mindset is very, very different. And then I get overpaid, so what? Now I'm looking at a much larger role, so I'm going to get paid more than what I'm getting now. So changing paradigms, and that's very important in change management. And because once they started looking their entire selves from a very different worldview, the entire thing changed. Because now they're looking forward to actually going into the market. When you change paradigms, you create sustainable change. So when you're introducing a technology system or any other change management, focus on changing paradigms. Don't introduce the system and expect the system to change the mindset of people. Do that simultaneously. And in the process, what we did was we made people to write their resumes. Resume writing can be a very, transformational experience. When you ask people, if each one of you write, what you did since you actually started work, and just one line in terms of one achievement per year, that can be a very, very different experience, because you don't get appreciated every day. But the moment you write, 20 things that you have done in the last 15 years, then you start feeling very different about yourself. Oh my God, I've done so much. I know so much. I mean, I am a different person. In fact, there are organizations which focus on using resume, basically writing about themselves as a way to transform people. Because a lot of times people have low self-esteem. So when you make people to write about themselves, about what they've done in their childhood, what are the things that really made others proud of themselves, you really find that people start feeling themselves in a very different manner. When they do that, then change becomes successful. Because inconsequential people cannot bring change. Only people with consequence can bring change. So in change management, you got to make people feel good about themselves. And then what they did was, what was important is, when this process was going on with Gillette, when we were training people, when people were going through the various processes so that they're prepared for facing the market, obviously everything doesn't work the way you define the blueprint. Yeah? You define a nice blueprint, you define a methodology, input, throughput, output, things don't go as per the plan. So it's very important to kind of innovate, and that's very important in change management. So we innovated, we did a lot of innovation. I think one important learning that we had is, be committed to the outcomes. Don't be committed to the methodology. Like for instance, you buy a tool and the tool is not working, don't be so egoistic to kind of stick on to the tool, dump the tool, because the tool is not important. What's important is the outcome that you want to achieve through the tool. And when your focus is on the outcome, then you find that you are able to make a lot of significant changes along the way. You are willing to kind of say that, hey, I made a mistake, and then step back and then make changes in the process, in outcomes. And then demonstrate leadership. And in this case, in Gillette, they were the first to get in and they were the last to get out. And that's so important in change management. I find that a lot of leaders, because we do a lot of change management assignments, they leave the organization midway. It's like, I have learned enough, I'm working with an Accenture, I'm working with a Price Waterhouse, I'm working with a TCS, and I think I've learned enough, and in midway they want to leave. They leave even before they actually been able to kind of transform the organization. I think leadership is about staying there and going through the ups and downs of the organization. And when you do that, then that's where you demonstrate character. And demonstrating character is extraordinarily important in change management. A lot of organizations, the organization leaders who come to the podium and trip about why change doesn't work, they need to look at themselves and say, do I demonstrate character and do I stay there and make change happen? When you read their resumes, it's 20 companies or 10 companies in 15 years or 17 years, you know that they have not demonstrated character. If a person has stayed for one company or two companies and then worked for 15 years, then you know that that person has been able to bring in change. So demonstrating character is extraordinarily important in change management. So what happened through this process? People got placed, yeah, it's fine. And they got into different industries. If you look at only 40% people actually joined FMCG. So they were able to look at different industries as options, not just about FMCG. The compensation increases have been significant because they started looking at larger roles, larger jobs. Okay, these are some of the small things that happen. And all the distributors, things were settled in 2 months' time. And importantly, even today, employees of Gillette talk very highly about their organization wherever they are and say that this organization truly cared. And in change, that's extraordinarily important because at the end of the change, you don't want your employees to feel bruised. Whatever may be the change, ISO or ERP or brand introduction, whatever it is. And finally, this got the career transition process got the Best Innovation Award. And that just summed up it was like a reformation that what the organization did was the right thing. So change is about envisioning. It's about defining a compelling dream about what you really want to achieve through that. Then it's about defining what are the paradigms that might come in the way of managing change. Your own paradigms, like you did in the FIST exercise. If I believe that through forcing I can bring in change, I need to examine my own paradigms. Similarly, look at the paradigms of the organization and say, what are the paradigms that are likely to hinder the change process? And after that, communicate, educate, support, help people to look at themselves as winners in the change process. You know all this. And finally, and when it happens and you have these outcomes, and then that's where you celebrate change. So change doesn't mean that some people lose, but change means that everybody gains. Thank you very much.